Hi, everybody. It is Friday the 13th, and for the last couple of weeks, have felt like every day has been Friday the 13th. I don't really want to mention anything about the channel being terminated. I will just simply say that I feel like the universe is telling me, your time was up years ago. What are you hanging on for? It's time to go. I have never experienced what I'm experiencing and have been on a daily basis for weeks on end. Never have I experienced the amount of stress, and it's not good. So the channel coming down, just another piece of this nightmare puzzle that I've been actually living. And let me just get on with it because, there's so much that pops into my head that I have to really restrain myself from saying. Why do I restrain myself from saying it? Because I'm so tired of getting attacked. I'm really tired of getting attacked. So let me just move on. This is so sad. There are people who are, unfortunately, they have this soul sickness. They're mentally ill. They're out for themselves. And they're literally killing people and destroying people. And they don't care. That is what is so frightening.
I have been a teacher in Loudoun County Public Schools for 5 years and a teacher for 10. This summer I have struggled with the idea of returning to school, knowing that I'll be working yet again with a school division that, despite its shiny tech and flashy salary, promotes political ideologies that do not square with who I am as a believer in Christ. After reading about your lack of consideration for the growing population of concerned citizens in this division, clearly evidenced by this empty room tonight where you shut the doors to the public, as well as the emails sent by the superintendent last year reminding me that a dissenting opinion is not allowed even to be spoken in my personal life, going so far as to send a form to my colleagues and I encouraging us to fill it out if we hear one another speaking against the controversial policies being promoted by this school board and adopted in this county. I was told in one of my so-called equity trainings that white, Christian, able-bodied females currently have the power in our schools and that, quote, this has to change. You no longer value me or many other teachers you've employed in this county. So since my contract outlines the power that you have over my employment in Loudoun County Public Schools, I thought it necessary to resign in front of you. School board, I quit. I quit your policies. I quit your trainings. And I quit being a cog in a machine that tells me to push highly politicized agendas on our most vulnerable constituents, the children. I will find employment elsewhere. I encourage all parents and staff in this county to flood the private schools.
They cut the mic off. They cut the mic off. They couldn't give her just a few more seconds to finish. Okay. I am so sad. At times I get angry for what this country has become, what Americans are doing to Americans. It's as if nothing matters but money and power. And it is going to get very frightening. It's going to get so violent, the chaos that is coming. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. What's hope? But Americans are not well. They really are not well. And they didn't, well, I've known people who, yeah, I want to work on myself. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to grow. I want to, the truth, yes. And the truth, personally, as well as collective, yeah, very important. Until you meet them and you realize that it was all bullshit. They lie to themselves. It's, where is the courage in all of the teachers that this woman has? Now, I was saying years ago, the teachers, everybody who works in the schools, why isn't anybody talking about that Wi-Fi that is damaging the children that sit in these classrooms, and then they're in those schools all day long, Monday through Friday, and we know how we know the adverse effects, the biological effects of Wi-Fi. We can't call ourselves adults when we don't protect children. We're children amongst the children. And applause to this woman. It's what everybody needs to be doing now, unfortunately. Yeah. If you have a conscience, and if you live by the principles that you speak, you will be just like this woman. Because it will get to you, regardless of the job. Military, police, teachers, government workers. If you have, a certain level of awareness and self-awareness and a conscience, and you live the principles that you speak, your job will get to you to the point where you will not be able to continue. You will have to take this kind of action that this woman has, because you will be compelled, because the principles that you speak and the conscience that you have, going to work Monday through Friday in a place where you're collecting that paycheck and you're hurting other people, whether it's children or other adults, it will eventually get to you. If you're about money, and that's your main value, you won't.
Politicized agenda.
You won't do anything. So, arrests along U.S.-Mexico border hit 21-year monthly high. Wow, it jumped 12% in July, 213,000, up from 188,934. I think it's an invasion. The new numbers don't include how many come across and are not captured. But is it an arrest? Well, it's that catch and release. Like they're catching, a feral animal or something. Why aren't people upset about that? You can't call them illegal immigrants, but we can go along and have this catch and release program. All right. The numbers of who don't get caught, 1,000 per day. That's what it's pegged at. 1,000 per day. 7,000 a week. You can do the math. What did our Homeland Security Secretary, Mayorkas, say? We are encouraging, actually that was a Freudian slip for a video that I made last night and went to post and couldn't because channel gone, which I'll post. But we are encountering an unprecedented number of migrants in between the ports of entry at our southern border. Could it be that you're encouraging all of these people to cross the southern border? Could it be that all our Border Patrol, what they do is just process and release? Maybe that's why. Or maybe there is actually a deliberate agenda to bring in an awful lot of illegal immigrants. But he actually went on to say that the surge was caused by worsening conditions in countries from which the migrants are leaving. Now, Americans, you adults, don't you realize that those countries are in the condition that they are in with help from the US of A? But he actually said this: thirdly, and importantly, is the resurgence of the economy in the United States and the gleam of the American promise. Wow. How dramatic of a lie you tell. The economy? Really? The resurgence of the economy? When even mainstream media now is reporting, I think that resurgence, no, it ain't happening. This guy, look at him. Got the face? He's running a covert operation that Judicial Watch has on their site. Plane loads of illegal immigrant minors, teenagers, relocated around the United States in the middle of the night. Plane loads. All right. I'm not going to get into this much because I will be posting a video on it. But one airport, which I believe is like west of Dallas, Abilene Airport, yeah, they're being flown. Well, what is known is they're being flown to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then the Department of Defense has contracted with a bus company to then put them on a bus and drive them to the southeast. Transporting plane loads of illegal immigrant minors in the middle of the night, then busing them to cities in the southeast. Department of Defense contracted with tour buses to move the migrants to nearby states along the southern border region, not Texas. We're talking Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. It's all over the country. Why are they doing it at night? Doesn't that seem odd? They're doing it at night because they don't want American citizens to know. Illegal aliens quietly being relocated throughout the U.S. on commercial flights, chartered flights. Yeah. Immigrants entering the United States illegally through the southern border are quietly being relocated to different parts of the country on commercial flights. High-ranking Homeland Security officials told Judicial Watch. In the last few days alone, groups of illegal aliens boarded planes at airports in Texas and Arizona, accompanied by a taxpayer-funded government escort in civilian clothes to avoid drawing attention. The first flight originated at Valley International Airport in Harlingen, Texas, and was bound for Minneapolis. The second left from Tucson International and arrived in Salt Lake City. They are They give them clothing. They give them matching suitcases that they carry. They give them housing and food, medical. And they're being positioned in cities for the chaos to come. We're not talking about the children. We're not talking about, the families. Though it's very hard because we have an awful lot of adults who are just carrying a child and you think, oh, it's the father or it's the mother. Actually, the cartels, the criminal organizations are human trafficking right smack into the United States. It's been going on forever, but Americans don't care. You're going to care if you live in any of these areas, because it's going to explode. Caring is really important. Not the kind of care that you say, oh, I care, or, you hear a news broadcast or you see a video and oh, you're just so sad and got to pray for those people. And then you go about your business. That's not care. Care, actually, genuine care, is generative. It generates action. You can't not. You're compelled. So, surgeon fired by College of Medicine for voicing safety concerns about this. Fired. A whistleblower, Hawaii, occupational therapist, spoke the truth. Now he is on administrative leave, paid, I believe, and probably looking at getting fired. The truth destroys, but those who love the truth can't not speak it, even if it destroys. Even if it kills you, you can't. You get to a point where it becomes everything. So, Biden sending troops to Afghanistan. Oh, whoa, wait, I thought the troops were coming home. Oh, they got to send at least about 3,000 more to evacuate Americans. The U.S. Embassy staff. What happened? 20 years fighting this war. Oh, Biden, yay, see? Biden got us out of it. Oh, really? Well, the Taliban is taking over. Well, that's the story, right? 3,000, 2 Marine infantry battalions, and 1 Army infantry battalion will be deployed to the Kabul airport to secure the civilian population. Doesn't it remind you of what was that? The city in Vietnam. Okay. Cannot remember. But 20 years of war in Afghanistan. It only cost $2.2 trillion. Well, that's what's on the books. $2.2 trillion. Wow. We could use that money, right? And what did that war bring to you, Americans? Did it bring you more security? I bet not. Because now the war on terror is, well, it's against that pie-baking mom in the Midwest who wears a MAGA sweatshirt. You got to be afraid of her. So the war on terror never, ever, ever, ever ends. Now it's just come home. Now you can be frightened of Trump supporters, the right-wing extremists. Wow. A lot of money. Whole lot of money. And the Pentagon spent $88 billion training the Afghan army for 20 years. And it collapsed in a month. Good job. Good job. Taliban. I guess the Afghan army couldn't hold back the Taliban. The Taliban now is in control of the country's second largest city, Kandahar. Oh my God. Well, I guess we're going to have to send the troops in once we get the American civilians out of the embassies. I guess wars just never end. Not when they make so much money off of them. Now, isn't this interesting? A tanker split. What happened? This ship, literally? Wow. Now that is a clean cut. I guess the person who's supposed to be screwing in the bolts, just didn't do a very good job. Oil, of course. Yeah. Well, how could that happen? How could that... It's such a clean cut. Oh, well. My immediate thought was electromagnetic frequencies. Well, we also have a lot of problems with these the transportation via cargo ships. So, more and more news coming about supply chain disruptions, but cargo ship splits in half after running aground off Japanese port. Happened at 4:15 a.m. Oil has spilled into the ocean. So supply chains, brace for collapse. Port of L.A., Los Angeles, fears repeat of shipping nightmare as China locks down. There was a COVID case in one of their ports and they shut it down. One case. One case. That's not supposed to be there. In not good order. Shippers frantic after China's busiest port shuts container terminal due to COVID. One case, boom, shut it down. Okay. Also, well, now on my Gone channel, I had a video on our, the gleam of American promise, the resurgence of our economy, Mayorkas, on our dying economy. 20,000 shipping rates, $20,000. Wow. And now the ports are closing. And what's going to happen? Well, we already have a whole lot of shortages going on. It's only going to get worse. I mean, KFC crisis unfolds across the UK. A shortage of menu items forces people to call police. It's true, okay, but there's only so much craziness that one can tolerate. McDonald's is having their shortages, so they come out with these, just a heads up that across our country there has been some disruption over the last few weeks, so things may be a little different when you next visit us. It's an update from the Colonel. You might find some items aren't available, or our packaging might look a little different to normal. We know it's not ideal, but we're working hard to keep things running smoothly. In the meantime, be patient with our incredible teams. They're doing a brilliant job despite the disruption. We can't wait to see you soon for your next fried chicken fix. Okay. Well, see, I don't even think that's chicken, but hey, what do I know? I don't eat at these places. When you see headlines like this, don't think, who cares? It's KFC. Care. Because it's not only KFC. And it's not only those shortages that they are experiencing. China. What comes in to the U.S. from China? Well, think about one real big corporation called Wally World. Pretty much everything in there comes from China. Oh, it's going to be a fun, fun time. We haven't seen this in more than 30 years. Shipping rates from China to U.S., yeah, with no drop in sight. So, guys, it's... If there are things that you can get now, and you have the money to get it now, get it now. Otherwise, you may not be able to. So, yeah, worse than the 70s. Soaring import and export prices. What will that do? Inflation. Higher and higher. For everything. For everything. Transitory. Pelosi boosts staffer pay 15% to $200,000. Well, just another slap in the face to all of the Americans that she has destroyed with her lockdowns. Government workers' wages rising 8.1% year over year. Wow. Social Security? Has there been any raises in that? They say that there's going to be a 6 to 8% raise in 2022. We'll see if that actually happens. But, yeah, the government workers, because they do such a good job. Okay, now this looks like we're watching, a Hollywood movie. This is scary. And her eyes with that mask on, scary. These people are scary. The House of Representatives is raising its maximum annual salary for staff from $173,900 to $199,300. And meanwhile, Americans, landlords, still not getting their rent. Oh, you know the deal, don't you? Please say that you do. Americans are really struggling with the inflation. Okay, 15%. Yeah, intended to help recruit and retain the outstanding and diverse talent. Really, Pelosi? They got to pay them a lot to keep them in their positions, to do the most treasonous work ever. And that move now, some of the staffers are making more than the senators and the representatives and the delegates who get $174,000. A sudden negative change in the economy. Oh, well, we just heard from Mayorkas, who said the resurgence of the economy. No. Okay. Consumer spending slides as majority now expects a new slowdown. Okay. It never picked up. We've been hearing lies, gross lies. But now, because consumers don't have the money, they don't have the money to spend. They didn't get the raise that Pelosi gave staffers. Hey, you Trump supporters. You like Trump's pick? Amy Coney Barrett refuses to block Indiana University's vaccine mandate and didn't even write a word about it. Wow. Good old Trump. And federal judge rejects effort to block eviction moratorium. A federal judge rejects effort to block eviction moratorium, which goes against a recent ruling from the Supreme Court. Aren't we living something different? Well, judges now do whatever the hell they want. And this judge actually stated that
The federal
with the understand Dabney Friedrich, a Trump appointee, she said the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional, but she's going to uphold it. Oh, because of the pandemic. Wow. Okay. Landlords. Philadelphia announces double mask mandate for government workers. And a whole lot more. And she teaches you how to put the double mask on. So you guys in Philadelphia, are you happy? Because now you know how to put your double mask on your face. I can't listen. All right, and more restrictions for everyone in Philadelphia. Double mask. Those of you who are not vaccinated, double mask. Those who are vaccinated, no mask. But the vaccinated are spreading. Okay, forget it. Moderna to build vaccine plant in Canada. Well, at least there's some manufacturing taking place. They're making billions. They're building plants to make more vaccines. The boosters. Oh, this is our life now. You know, World Health Organization gets instruction from China on how to write a report about Wuhan and the lab leak. So, a whole lot have been saying that Bill Gates and China, the biggest funders of the World Health Organization, and the biggest funders of anything, they are in control. So the CCP agreed to allow mention of the lab leak theory on the grounds that they did not recommend any follow-up investigation. And our good old censorship and loss of privacy. I also did a video on neural hash. Apple last week actually stated to the world, we will be monitoring your phone for child pornography. Crickets. Nothing. You know, the company informed the world that it was adding neural hash to its network of over 1 billion iPhones, storage platforms, and other resources. The neural hash will allow it to scan images before they are uploaded to iCloud for child pornography. The user will then be disabled and reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Okay. You're a new mom and dad, and you take pictures of your new child. You're taking a bath with the new child, whatever. You want to send to the grandparents that picture. Boom, you're disabled. Reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is the danger here. If they want to set somebody up, they will put the pornography on their phone and then claim that, oh, we just found it before we were uploading it to iCloud. Okay, it's done. Sorry, it's a done deal. Your freedom is gone, your privacy is gone. Everything is going to get a whole lot worse. And the American experiment was a fucking joke because Americans did nothing to secure their freedom. They wanted mommy and daddy to do it, and they ended up with a mommy and daddy who is psychopathic, narcissistic, abusing them, and maybe it's Stockholm syndrome that they have or whatever. They have been so demoralized, they don't care about anything. We're on our way. We are on our way. Okay, links are below.